I wanted to take a look at something. So, obviously, the last time Washington and Detroit played, Washington won in convincing fashion.
Yeah.
It was in the divisional round of the playoffs. It was cold as hell in Michigan. You and I were there. It was quite a night, man. It was pretty damn cool.
It was.
Shout out to Lee Armstrong. He gave me a ride home the next morning. That was a fun flight. So the earliest line I can gather on this game is from May when they announced the schedule. And I think that's fairly irrelevant. But way back in May, when odds makers first started giving lines on this game, Commanders were favored by 1.5.
Yeah.
So if you figure 3 points for home field, they had Washington as a very, very, very narrow favorite. That held all the way until, and this is what I find odd, October 28th was last weekend, right? I guess Halloween.
Nah, it was right before last weekend.
Halloween was Friday night, right? So October 28th is like a week
Tuesday
ago.
or Wednesday.
Yeah. At that point, they installed Detroit as a 3-point favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what happened on October 28th? The Commanders said Jaden Daniels is playing. Jaden's back.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, Detroit's a 3-point favorite. That holds until the game was, they played probably November 2nd or 3rd, right?
Second.
Then Detroit starts to move up, right? At one point it's 4.5, then it's 3.5, then it's back down to 3 because Detroit just lost to Minnesota at home.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nobody's thinking about this. The Lions have lost 2 of their last 3, and their injury report is pretty significant too. It's not Washington's. They're not without their starting quarterback, but they could be missing as many as 3 of their starting offensive linemen. All right, so before Washington kicks off against Seattle, it was Detroit -3. Then Washington plays Seattle. Jaden gets hurt. That line jumps to 7.5.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much held there. At one point, it jumped to 8.5, and it got as high as 9.5 points.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just earlier. That was like 2 days ago. And now it seems like it's settling down back to a touchdown and a half. 7.5. What do you make of the line movement? I think when it was at 3 with Jaden and jumping to 7 without Jaden, I think that's pretty fair.
Mm-hmm.
But then it goes all the way up to 9. Now it's back down to 7. If you look at the action on this, overwhelmingly people are betting Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, unfortunately for Washington, overwhelmingly people were betting on Seattle. They covered. Overwhelmingly people were betting on Kansas City, and they covered. So this is not like a...
Well, see, that's why the line is moving, because overwhelmingly those things happen, and I keep telling you, the line don't move
But
based
for it
off
to
of,
move back down is odd.
Yeah, but it's not always because of just information. It's a lot of times they try to make that thing be split in the middle. You know, and if you went to 9.5, there are people that still believe, well, they just lost, like you said, 2 of the last 3. They're not going to win by that much. So you get people betting on the taking the under, and then all of a sudden, let's move it back to 7.5, which makes you think a little bit more. No.
Lions yesterday on the injury report, Taylor Decker, Penei Sewell, and Dan Skipper, 3 tackles for this team, all DNPs.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that's DNP for rest. That's just DNP. Decker's a shoulder, Sewell is a shoulder, Skipper is his back. I mean, that's a pretty significant injury situation for Detroit. But you know what stinks, B?
What's that?
Like, ideally, if you're down a bunch of tackles, your defensive ends are going to be really looking to feast. Washington's so far down at the end, you've got Von Miller in clear passing situations, but beyond that, it's like,
People haven't proven themselves just yet.
Jacob Martin's giving him some good rushes.
Yeah.
Frankie Louvu, I guess. Louvu's not suspended. I don't know, man. This is a difficult game.
Because Louvu would be put back in the lineup, be a reason that the line moved a little bit. Because when he was, at first they say he was suspended.
Maybe that's why
could have went up to 9. And he comes back, it drops back to 7.5. I don't know.
That's interesting. I didn't think about that. So it jumped up to that. Honestly, might track B. When did the appeal announcement come out? Was that yesterday morning?
Somewhere around there.
I think it was Wednesday morning. So that would have been what, the 5th? That could be it, B, because it went from 9.5 to 8.5, and now today it's back to 7.5. Looking at this game, I do think this will not be like the shootout so many are expecting. I think when you look at Detroit, B, they're an explosive offense. Jared Goff's a good player.
Very much so.
Amon-Ra St. Brown's a great player. Jameson Williams has real speed. Laporte is a player. Like, they are real players, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for me, and I'm curious, maybe you disagree, Detroit's identity is running the hell out of the football.
True. They only had 63 yards in the last game, though.
Right, and it's David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. And Jahmyr Gibbs, your home run hitter, but Montgomery's your hammer. They have nicknames for each other based on a video game, Sonic and Knuckles. I don't have a lot of file on that.
I have none.
Sonic's the Hedgehog. I know Sonic. That was on Sega when I was a kid. I don't know who Knuckles is. Maybe Jeff can let me know. I think in this game, Detroit's going to be really focused on getting their run game going.
Mm-hmm.
And I think every NFL game is difficult. Carolina just went to Green Bay and beat the Packers in Lambeau, right? I think Dan Campbell wants to get his offense back to a power running team. Dude, Detroit, through 8 games now, is one of the worst teams in the NFL on third down, converting third downs. Washington hasn't been very good. They are 15th in the NFL. They're converting a little less than 40% of their third downs. Detroit, with this explosive offense and their ability to get downhill in the run game, 25th in the NFL on third down. 37 of 102 on the year.
Wow.
Don't you think Dan Campbell's going to look at this game as we're going to get our damn run game going?
Yeah, I think that the third down thing, it does say you're not doing much on first and second.
Right.
And but this thing, you got Gibbs and Montgomery. Which one would you run all the time? Because the power game is more about Montgomery, which is normally inside the tackles. And people can defend that. Gibbs, you put him back there, Gibbs can go inside, outside, catch the ball in the backfield, whatever. I think he gives you the better chance because he has, more thinking that the defense has to do, more worrying they have to do. Montgomery, you know how this game plan for him, but that's what they seem to want to go with Montgomery more and use what's called as that change of pace back. Hell, I'll put him out there at the beginning.
Shout out to Ben Johnson for taking the ball out of Jahmyr Gibbs' hand.
Thank you, Benjamin. Yeah,
that was I'll never understand that decision-making process in that divisional round game. I believe Gibbs was averaging 9 yards a touch, and they kept pulling him out to get the ball to David Montgomery.
Craziness.